I want to drop in for just real quick on NXT because there were a couple of things of interest, including I mentioned at the top of the program. I've seen the future of wrestling. It's Braun Steiner. I'm just going to call him Braun Steiner from now. That's his name, Braun Steiner. I will start out by saying that the opening match on NXT on March 22nd was Roderick Strong against Solo Sikoa, Samoan fellow. And I stopped and watched that because I'm a big fan of Roddy's because he takes everything seriously. He works hard. He doesn't mind working a little snug, and he gets the best out of everybody. And I said, well, let's see what the Solo can do. And both those guys really aggressive, fast-paced, but in control, nice action. Sikoa looked good. He's serious. He's athletic. He must have more experience than under another name. I don't know who he was before he got in that program, but it's not like they've just trained him in the last year. He knows what he's doing. Roderick Strong is now apparently the last serious member of the Undisputed Era. I just wish he didn't have that crew cut because it just bleh. But they did a great match. Sikoa's comeback maybe needed a little bit of work, but he did a nice Samoan drop and won with a splash off the top rope. These two guys, honestly, they used to fit in NXT. Now that they've botched up NXT, these guys would both fit right in the, there's two rosters in AEW. There's the serious roster, and then there's the best friends roster, where everybody gets their job because they're best friends with somebody who can give them a job. Both these guys would go on the serious side of AEW, and they would prosper better than they are in this environment. But then, and I know you didn't see this program because your DVR said, fuck you.
No, my DVR had compassion. My DVR had compassion for me. I didn't record it.
What are you asking me to do here? Record NXT, or are you out of your mind? So I'll fill you in. Anyway, the match that I wanted to see was Braun Steiner against Robert Roode. And they're promoting Steiner and Ziggler at Stand and Deliver this coming Saturday, WrestleMania weekend, which we got to see that match. Even I don't know what else is on Stand and Deliver, and I don't think I would care to stand for it, and I don't believe they're going to deliver. But we're going to see that match at least. I'm looking at Braun Steiner here thinking the only competition, if you can use that word, that the WWE has is AEW. And the guy that's challenging for the NXT, the third brand title this weekend, Braun Steiner, looks like and would be a better World Wrestling Champion right now than AEW's champion Adam Page.
Hey,
go ahead.
Did you see the thing on Twitter the other day? Someone asked me a question, and I decided I'll answer it. Who felt like more of a world champion, Kenny Omega or Adam Page?
Twinkle Toes.
And I wrote Omega. You got to be honest. He was treated like a world champion. He felt like one. Adam Page
acted like one. He had his fake Nick Bockwinkel out there, the invisible hand job, Don Callis.
The invisible hand job.
He carried it, but he carried himself. The one thing you can't say about old Twinkle Toes is that he doesn't think his shit is good. He thinks he's hot shit, and he carries himself like that. And he had the look and the suit and the manager, and they made over him like a champion. Much more his matches I didn't like, but the aura was much more champion-like than Page. And I look at Steiner, and I was managing guys against Kurt Angle in Memphis at the same stage of Kurt Angle's career as Steiner here. Same time, about 6 months. Maybe not even quite, maybe a little bit more depending on the time frame. Steiner blows Kurt Angle away at this same point in time. And not with athleticism. They were both freak athletes, but I'm talking about with the ability not only to do moves, but also the facial expression, the timing, the stuff you're doing, the physical charisma that makes somebody want to look at you. Steiner's ahead of Angle at this stage of the game. the only person that I have seen
And younger.
this and younger. And the only person I've seen that was this natural as Steiner to begin with, maybe ever, was The Rock. So anyway, this was a great wrestling match. Rude, even when he's getting the heat on fucking Braun Steiner, he did Scott Steiner's bicep pose, up, dropped the elbow, did the push-ups. The announcers couldn't be specific. Well, look what Rude's doing. When you think of Braun Breaker or whatever you think of, I don't know what they were saying. They even called a Frankensteiner and couldn't mention Braun Steiner's family. Robert Roode is almost the perfect pro wrestler. Just no weak point whatsoever, except, unfortunately, the way he's been booked for a number of years. Because I understand a good athlete can do moves and Rude can lead, but Steiner just has he seems comfortable. He gets the little shit already, and he has that magnetism. And then finally, they had a nice match. Rude goes for a double axe handle type thing off the ropes. Steiner catches him in midair, hits the power slam 1, 2, 3, and just great. And then Ziggler came out and caught Steiner from the blind side with one super kick and laid him out and taunted him just the right amount of time. Boom. This was my second favorite thing on TV all week from anybody. And there was one more thing. Browder, do you have any questions about what I just said?
I don't have any questions, but I am looking forward to seeing him against Dolph Ziggler. There are matches I'm looking forward to. I'm really dreading the entire WrestleMania weekend overall. But there are specific matches I want to see, and that's one of them.
There's like one match on each show.
Yeah, pretty much.
One match on Ring of Honor, one match on Stand and Deliver, one match each night of the 2 night, yeah. But the other match on this show, Walter against Duke Hudson. And I was ready not to like this because Duke Hudson he's another guy. Everybody in NXT now is either from the UK or Australia or New Zealand. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he's as big, he's as tall as Walter and pretty much probably weighs close. And I didn't think this was a good matchup visually, but at the same time, Walter just took matters in his own hands and just did the perfect thing that he always does every time he's in the ring and can escape the clutches of the writer's verbiage and booking. Everything, he was making his slams look impressive. Duke Hudson can't punch, save his life. His punches are the shits. Walter hit one chop in this thing. I've never heard anything like it. The people started chanting holy shit from one pop or from one chop. It sounded like a clap of thunder rather than the rifle crack or the smack or whatever. It was deep, and immediately you saw Hudson's chest just turn red. And Walter, in a singles match that he can control all the way, he's almost flawless. In the 6-mans, there's other shit going on. But this match, he beat the guy up, he chopped him, and he power bombed him 1, 2, 3. The guy got some offense because he was big, and he didn't. It was right. Again, Walter knows how to do him. And this guy got the right amount of offense without it being ridiculous that Walter's bumping for a nobody.
Who's Walter working with?
Go ahead.
Who's he working with at the Stand and Deliver show?
Well, that would be LA Knight, I believe. Because, well, here's the thing. What they did next was, here comes LA Knight. And they do a promo confrontation, and Walter goes, "You're lots of talking, very little skill, right?" And so good old Eli, LA, he nails Walter, and Imperium attacks LA Knight, and they get literally 2 seconds of heat, and here come MSK running all of a sudden, and they make the big save, and they all, guess who the last guy in the ring was that got beat up?
Walter?
And they all beat Walter up. And he bailed out. So they did a great segment And by the time they finished with it at the end, they ended up back at the beginning, negating all the work they'd done for the previous 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, what's more WWE than that?
There you go. And the main event on the program, Brian, I know you hate you missed this. The finals of the Dusty Classic. Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai against Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai against Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai against Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai.
You got to do it as a rap. You're doing it as a song. Do it as a rap.
Well, Kaylee Ray, motherfuckers, and Io Shirai, cocksuckers, against Wendy Chu, motherfuckers, and Dakota Kai. Assholes, I don't fucking know.
That's not how it works.
This was the main event on a show with Steiner against Rude on it and Walter wrestling. And that was the finals of the Dusty Classic. And so that was the main event on the program. But yeah, Walter, thumbs up. Steiner is the future. Rude is almost perfect. And Solo Sikoa needs to get the fuck out of there because he's too good and athletic to be stuck in this fucking land of embarrassment.
Did they do any kind of big ceremony for the Dusty Classic finale?
I didn't watch. As soon as I saw what the match was, I said, fuck, I could save 15 minutes. And boom, there you go. But that was that.